Welcome to the course of Fiber Optic Network Design and Maintenance. Fiber optic technicians are in high demand right now, and bright career in fiber optic network design and maintenance is just waiting for you. Welcome to the exciting, colorful world of fiber optics. After successful completion of the course, you will be able to use OTDR to locate the fault and measure distances of cables. Use Fusion Splicer to repair the fiber optic links. Perform the power budget and rise time budget for fiber optic link. And check the feasibility of system and find maximum data rate supported by fiber optic link. This is the outline for the course. There are two modules. In first module, we will study about the optical link details and the design, and then we will perform the power budget and rise time budget to design the fiber optic link. In the second module, we will study the optical instruments and their use for maintenance. So we will be focusing on the two instruments, that is optical time domain reflectometer OTDR and the Fusion Splicer. So let us start with the module 1 of the course Fiber Optics Network Design and Maintenance. The contents of module 1 are Introduction to the Optical Link Design, Power Budget Concept, Power Budget Case Study, Rise Time Budget Concept and Rise Time Budget Case Study. The learning objectives of this module are: analyze signal distortion between transmitter and receiver in a simple fiber optic point-to-point link with respect to attenuation and pulse dispersion. Do a qualitative estimation of maximum transmission distance L at a given signal data rate. Do a quantitative characterization of signal detection process and definition of the minimal detectable optical power for a particular type of signal distortion with respect to detection error criteria. And understand optical system components with typical specifications and applications. The first lecture of the first module is Introduction to Optical Link Design. Optical fibers are used to transmit the information over long distances, and fiber-based systems have largely replaced the radio transmitter system for long haul data transmission. They are widely used for telephony, internet traffic, long high-speed local area networks, that is LAN, cable TV, and increasingly also for shorter distances within buildings. The capacity of fibers for data transmission is huge. A single silica fiber can carry hundreds of thousands of telephone channels, and the fiber optic cables are immune to the problems that arise with electrical cables such as ground loops or the electromagnetic interference. So let us study the different types of fiber optic systems. The simplest type of fiber optic communication system is point-to-point connection with a single data channel. Such a link is especially used for within building communication or for a short distance communication. It includes the transmitter for sending the information optically, a transmission media, that is a fiber, and a receiver. The optical networks are grouped according to the area covered. So we have different optical networks, like the local area network LAN. It links two or more points within a small area, for example within a building or between few buildings. The second one is metropolitan area network, that is MAN. It covers a larger area, for example, a complete city. And the next one is wide area network, that is WAN. It extends over a larger area, for example, whole country or even more than that. It is possible to use the optical links even to supply the data over the last mile to the single home or the offices. This technology is called as fiber to home, that is FTTH. The different distribution networks can be used to distribute the data, same data, to multiple users. So we will start our study with the details of point-to-point link. This is the block diagram for point-to-point digital link. This digital data transmission is more advantageous than the analog transmission. The analog signal is converted into digital pulses by the pulse code modulation. The different stages involved are sampling, quantizing and encoding, and the digital data in the form of pulses is then line coded using the different techniques such as return to zero, non-return to zero, phase encoded, and then this digital data which is line encoded is given to the modulator. So line coder will provide this data which is given to modulator, and then that modulated signal is given to the optical source. The source may be LED or a laser, which will convert the electrical signal into optical pulses. The optical pulses will be then sent on optical fiber link, and after traveling a long distance of the optical link, it will reach to the optical detector. It will convert the optical signal into electrical signal, and then the data will be amplified by using an amplifier and then given to the decoder or demodulator. And the final output will be binary data output, which is the data same as which we have sent from the transmitter. Let us see the details of the point-to-point analog link. The analog transmission avoids the cost and complexity of digital equipments. Thus, irrespective of some disadvantages, the analog systems are used for short distance communication. For example, cable TV or direct cable television. The analog baseband signal is modulated by using either direct modulation or the subcarrier modulation. The RF subcarrier data will be given to the optical source, which will convert that electrical signal to optical, and then which it will be transmitted on the optical fiber link. At the receiver, the data is received by using optical detector. It is amplified and then demodulated to recover the analog baseband signal. So after point-to-point link, now the next type of network is local area network. There are different network topologies such as star, ring, data bus. So network topology is arrangement of multiple optical fiber transmission lines in an optical network. So let us see the details of these topologies. The first topology is star topology. In star connection, various nodes of network are connected together with a single central hub, and this central hub can be active or passive network. This central hub then controls and directs the transmitted optical signal inside the optical network. The second topology is ring topology. One single node is joined to its neighboring node, forming a closed path, and then the transmitted information will be sent from one node to another. The optical couplers are installed within the network in order to couple the transmitted optical signal from one node to another. The next topology is data bus. Various nodes are connected through a single trunk line with the help of optical couplers. This allows a convenient as well as a cost-effective solution for transmission of the signal. Optical fiber system can be used to distribute the information to a group of subscribers. For example, cable TV, distribution of telephone signal over the central switching offices. So this common distribution network may have the configuration like hub topology or the bus topology. So here the hub topology is shown in this particular slide. The central hub can share single optical fiber cable because of its large bandwidth for connection with the main hub. So now we have studied all the network topologies and the types of networks, but how to design these optical networks and which are the different design considerations. So let us see those. The first consideration is signal to be transmitted. So whether you want to send analog signal or digital signal, that is to be decided. Second is type of fiber, whether you want to use single mode fiber or a multi-mode fiber. Third is number of fibers available. As the infrastructure of the fibers is already laid down, how many fibers are available for communication within that particular area, that is to be considered while designing the system. Next is the power budget of the system. In power budget, we have to consider the different losses along the fiber, loss due to fiber connector, loss due to splicing, loss due to patch panels, and then how much power will reach to the receiver. That will decide the feasibility of the system. The fifth one is dispersion limit of the system. When the pulses are sent on the optical link, the pulses gets broadened and that will limit the maximum data rate supported by the link. So all these are the important system design considerations while designing the fiber optic link. The link have the important components such as the source, detector and the fiber. So let us see the selection criteria for these components one by one. So first we will go for the selection of a fiber. Whether you want to go for single mode or multi-mode fiber is decided based on the specifications provided by the manufacturers of the fiber, like core size, core refractive index, numerical aperture, attenuation and dispersion. The second important component is source. It may be LED or a laser. And the specifications are output power, emission wavelength, emission pattern, spectral line width and number of modes. The third one is photodetector. It may be PIN or APD and it is decided based on operating wavelength, responsivity, speed and sensitivity. So thus in this lecture we discussed about the types of optical links and the design considerations for it. In next lecture we will discuss the details of power budget concept. Thank you.